It's Rebecca, and for this year's Renaissance Festival, I decided to dress up like a fairy, and so I knew I would need some sort of headdress, so I made this little fairy wreath, with my wig going everywhere, but it has peacock feathers and little handmade berries and flowers and everything, and I think it's nice with the dress that I have, because the dress I have is all kind of peacock colors. So anyway, if you like this headdress and would like to see how I do it, then keep watching.
So for this project, you're going to need some floral wire. I'm using green covered kind, some green floral tape, any kind of flowers that you would like to use. Usually smaller flowers are best, but you can add some accents of larger flowers. Any feathers, if you would like some feathers in yours. I'm using peacock feathers for mine, and of course a pair of scissors. First thing we're going to do is take 2 pieces of our floral wire, attach the edges together by just twisting them together. And this floral wire is pretty malleable, so it's really not too hard to do this. You're just going to twist them around, and once you get the ends twisted together and nice and secure, like that, you are going to take your floral tape. You don't need very much. A little goes a long way with this, and you can always add more, so you definitely don't want to be too wasteful. But you're just going to take that and attach it to your ends and just wrap it around to secure that. Next, we're going to separate out our stems, because usually they come 3 or 4. So we're just going to take a pair of craft scissors and snip those off so that it's nice and free, and then do that with the rest of your flowers to separate them off. Then you're going to take one piece of that flower strand and wrap it, just twist it around the floral wire. And then you're just going to take a little bit of your floral tape and secure the ends down on that by just twisting it around. And you're just going to do this with all of your flowers. So when as you can see, I'm adding some of the purple now. I'm just fitting them in, kind of twisting the end if I can around, and then just securing it in place with that floral tape. And you could have just left it with just the yellow flowers. That would have been fine too for a more simple sort of wreath, but I want mine to be a little more opulent, so I'm adding a little more accents. Next, you're going to take your feathers and just slide it into place where you'd like it, and just twist the end around and take your floral tape and secure it into place. I wanted the focus to be mostly on the front of my crown, so I'm using the peacock feathers to sort of accent and highlight the main rose that's going to be in the center of my forehead. And I'm actually going to have 2 feathers in the front. So you can see I'm just twisting it and holding it into place with that floral tape. And you can add as little or as much as you need. There's no right or wrong way to add that floral tape. You just want it to be secure. So I'm just sliding it into an opening in my wreath, and then I'm just twisting that end around to secure it a little better and taping it into place. If you don't like the little pieces of feather that kind of hang down, you can always just snip that off with scissors. I kind of like the more organic look it gives the crown, so I'm keeping it on mine, but you're always welcome to, neaten things up a bit with just a pair of scissors. I'm using a relatively narrow piece of floral tape here because it gives me a little bit better control when I'm twisting it. I can kind of twist it through the flowers and things like that. If it were wider, I wouldn't be able to do that as well. And you can just shape those feathers however you need to. You can add some on the sides if you'd like, as many as you'd like. Next, we're going to move on to our berries. I'm cutting about 2 feet of craft wire, and I'm just threading a bead through. and folding that wire over and then twisting it directly underneath the bead. You can see I'm just twisting it down and it just makes like a little bead head like that. So next you're just going to twist that wire down a little further till you get to a point where you want to make an offshoot and make a little branch with another bead at the end. You could, if you want, just make little individual stems like this. If you were doing that, you would just continue wrapping the wire down till you get the length you need to attach it to your crown. But I want this to be a nice little highlight behind my flower, my central flower, so I'm actually going to add 3 beads here to make a little 3-berry look. So you're going to take your longer wire now and string the bead through that end. Then get the length you'd like that branch to be, fold it over, twist it under your bead again to hold it into place, and then just continue wrapping that wire all the way down that little branch until you get to your main trunk, so to speak. Which can be a little tricky when you have a long piece of wire because you end up grabbing anything and everything around you. But anyway, you're just going to keep twisting that down. And once you reach the main trunk, you're going to just start twisting that wire then down around that until you get again to another point where you want to make a branch. And this craft wire is pretty malleable, so you can really adjust where you want these berries to go. It's definitely great if you want a little custom look. So again, you're just going to find the length you want, fold the wire over, twist it underneath the berry to secure it into place, and just twist down until you get to that main trunk again. Once you get to this point, of course, you could add more berries if you want, less. It's all up to you, but you definitely want to check out the way it looks with your crown just to make sure it's giving you the look that you want. So I'm going to check it and see and make sure that it's giving me the look I want. Which it is, and once you're sure that it's what you want, you're just going to continue wrapping the rest of that wire all the way down that trunk wire, quote unquote, until you get the length you need to secure it to your crown. And if you have any extra, if you get to the end and you feel like you have extra wire down there, you're just going to snip it off with a pair of scissors. And then attaching it to your crown will be just like attaching your feathers. You're just going to find a little part in your crown that you can kind of slide it through. So you'll slide it through, just check the height to make sure you get the beads at the height that you want, and then just wrap that remaining wire around your crown. And then you'll just attach the ends with floral tape as you have everything else. And you can add as many of those as you'd like. Now I realized that actually making the circle part of my crown, it didn't show up, so you're just taking the 2 ends. You're fitting it around your head and you're just twisting those 2 ends like this, because I realized my camera wasn't shooting. And then you're just going to take your floral tape and attach it to those ends to secure it, and then you can kind of just form it how you need to. So I apologize that it did that. But next you're going to take some glitter glue. This is a teal color because I want to kind of bring the teal from the berries and the peacock feathers into the actual flowers on my crown. So I'm just going to touch the edges. You can put as little or as much as you want. I kind of want it to just be sort of a glistening effect on the very tips of my roses. But once you do that, that's pretty much it. This is all you need to do to create your own fairy crown, and you can add as much glitz as you'd like or as little. You could add little dangling beads if you'd like. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Bye.